Sometimes revenge doesn't start with anger. It starts with a quiet moment, when you realize the people you trusted most were sharpening knives behind your back. And when the betrayal involves your parents, the two people who gave you everything, the only choice left is justice. The kind you deliver yourself. My name is Elena Ward, I'm 38 years old, and if you asked anyone who knows me, they'd tell you I'm the calm one in my family. The problem is, calm people are always the ones betrayed the deepest, because everyone assumes we won't fight back. They learned the truth too late. I grew up in Billings, Montana, in a house too small for the four of us, with a heater that clicked like an old horsehoof in winter and a roof that complained every time it snowed. My father, Michael Ward, worked maintenance at a community college. My mother, Jamie, worked at a grocery store checkout. We were the kind of family that saved plastic bags instead of throwing them out. But they never complained. Not once. My parents are gentle, soft-spoken people. The world was not gentle back. That's why I always wanted to give them a life where they didn't have to bend anymore. A life where the world didn't get to win. That dream stayed with me through college, medical school, and every painful, exhausting year of my trauma surgery residency. By 35, I finally made the money my parents never had a chance to touch. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. I wanted to give them a mountain. A real one. Not a metaphor. Not a dream. A home in the big sky country, the kind you only see in postcards, the kind my father used to point at on calendars and say, "Jamie, one day we'll sit on a porch like that. And just breathe." He said it every year. Every year. So on the weekend of their 40th anniversary, I bought them a home. A $480,000 timber cabin tucked into the foothills near Bozeman, overlooking a valley that looked like God himself carved it with a palette knife. The cabin had 2 floors, a wraparound porch, a stone fireplace, and windows that swallowed the sunrise whole. It wasn't a house. It was peaceful. My parents cried when I handed them the keys. My mother held the deed like it was a newborn baby. My father kept whispering, "This isn't real. This can't be real." It was real. And it was theirs. I put it entirely in their names, protected through a Montana irrevocable living trust. Safe. Secure. Untouchable. At least, I thought it was untouchable. I underestimated greed, the kind that runs in your bloodline, hiding in people who hug you on Christmas and steal from you in January. Let me introduce you to my cousin, Tyler Ward. My father's sister's son. A charming, smiling parasite. The kind of man who acts like life cheats him every time he fails. Which is always. Tyler was the family golden boy, because he was good-looking, loud, and always had a story to tell. He crashed 3 businesses, owed money to half the relatives, and still somehow walked into every family gathering like he was auditioning to be the mayor of bad decisions. He was also broke. Very broke. And when broke people smell opportunity, they turn into wolves. 3 weeks after my parents moved into the cabin, Tyler came to visit. He brought his girlfriend, 2 bags of laundry, and a bottle of cheap whiskey he claimed was a housewarming gift. My parents, being the quiet saints they are, told him he was welcome any time. That kindness became their biggest mistake. 3 days later, Tyler announced he wanted to stay for a bit, to help with the property, because mountain living is hard. What he meant was, I'm moving in because free rent tastes delicious. I tried to warn my parents, but they defended him. He's family, Mom said. Just until he gets on his feet, Dad added. Except Tyler had never been on his feet. He lived on everyone else's. I let it go. Until the day everything changed. It was a Thursday. I remember because I was between back-to-back surgeries when my mother called me, her voice thin and strange. Elena. Honey. Tyler says a man came by today. Something about paperwork for the cabin. My stomach twisted. What kind of paperwork? He said, well, he said you must have made a mistake. Something about some transfer needing to be signed. My blood ran cold. I had made no mistakes. I had structured that trust with the same precision I used when I repaired a torn artery. Clean, careful, airtight. The cabin could not be transferred, sold, or loaned against. There was no transfer. Something was wrong. Mom, I asked slowly, where is Tyler right now? He went into town with the man. Said he'd help us sort it out. My mother's voice shook. Elena. Honey. What's happening? I didn't know yet. But I had a suspicion. A dark one. I cancelled my afternoon surgeries, took emergency leave, and got into my truck. The drive from Billings to Bozeman was 4 hours, but that day it felt like 40. When I reached the cabin, my parents were sitting at the kitchen table like two lost children. Papers were scattered everywhere. And then I saw it. My heart nearly stopped. A false quitclaim deed. Filed. Stamped. Processed. Claiming my parents had voluntarily transferred ownership of the cabin to Tyler Ward. My world narrowed to a tunnel. Mom. Dad, did you sign anything? They both shook their heads rapidly. No, my mother cried. Never, my father insisted. But the paper showed their signatures. Their forged signatures. Then my father whispered. Elena, he said you wanted it moved to him. He said the trust had complications, and you told him to handle it. I nearly vomited. Tyler had pretended to be acting on my behalf. He had lied, forged, manipulated, stolen. He wasn't stealing from me. He was stealing from two old gentle people who had given him nothing but grace. The kind of people he knew wouldn't fight back. But he forgot something. I'm not gentle. And I fight like hell. Tyler walked into the cabin 20 minutes later, carrying a new leather jacket and a smugness so thick it stained the air. Hey cuz, he said, tossing his keys on the counter. Heard you were coming. I held up the forged deed. Explain, I said. He grinned. Oh that. Just fixing some paperwork issues. You signed the place into a trust, right? Complicated stuff. I streamlined it. Streamlined. I repeated, my voice dangerously calm. Yep. He shrugged. Honestly, I'm doing you a favor. You're busy saving lives. This place needs someone full-time. Someone who understands property. Someone who... You forged their signatures. He didn't blink. You can't prove that. I can, I said quietly. And I will. Tyler rolled his eyes. Oh come on, Elena. They're old. Maybe they forgot to sign. Happens to seniors. Maybe they got confused. You know how it is. I saw my mother flinch. My father's hands trembled. Tyler didn't notice. He was too proud of himself. Then he leaned back and delivered the sentence I will never forget. This cabin is mine now. You're all welcome to visit, as long as you don't make things difficult. That was the moment something inside me, something soft and tired, snapped clean in half. He thought the mountain belonged to him. He had no idea what storm he had just invited. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I did what trauma surgeons do during chaos. I became ice-cold and precise. Mom. Dad, I said softly. Go sit on the porch. My father hesitated. Elena. Please, I added. They listened. The moment the door closed behind them, I turned to Tyler. Here's what's going to happen, I said. You're going to pack your things. And you're going to leave. Tyler laughed. Leave. I own this place. No, I said. You own a felony. He blinked. What? I opened my bag. Pulled out a folder. One by one, I laid down weapons on the table. Not knives. Not fists. Paper. First, I said, sliding out a document. The trust paperwork. The original. Legally airtight. Signed, notarized, and backed by Montana state law. Tyler shifted. I continued. Second, digital timestamps proving my parents were with me at the exact time these fraudulent signatures were supposedly done. His smirk twitched. Third, the fake deed you filed. Already flagged this morning by the county clerk when I called. Forgery is a felony in Montana. His face paled. Fourth, the security footage from the FedEx store where you printed these papers. He swallowed. And fifth, I leaned in. The text messages you sent your girlfriend about taking the cabin before the old people die. Tyler froze. You hacked my phone, he croaked. No, I said. She sent them to me herself when she realized you planned to dump her after you stole the cabin. His mouth fell open. And finally, the kill shot. Sixth, the sheriff is on his way. Right on cue, blue lights flashed through the window. Tyler snapped. Elena, stop. We can fix this, okay? We're family. I stared at him, unblinking. No, I said. We are blood. Family is who protects you, not who robs your parents blind. The sheriff walked in. Tyler cursed, tried to run, slipped, and fell into the fireplace grate. It would have been funny if it weren't pathetic. He was arrested on the spot. Forgery, fraud, attempted theft, elder exploitation. 4 felonies. My parents watched quietly as the sheriff car rolled away, leaving tire tracks in the gravel like a signature. My father whispered, Elena, we didn't want trouble. I know, I said, placing a hand on his shoulder. But trouble came anyway. The next 3 weeks were a hurricane. Tyler's mother, my Aunt Denise, called me screaming. How could you do this to him? He's your cousin. He forged a deed, I said. He tried to steal your brother's home. He wouldn't. He told me you tricked him into signing something. I hung up. Then the Facebook posts started. Tyler from jail. Aunt Denise. Cousins I barely knew. All claiming I destroyed the family. But I didn't respond. Because defending yourself to liars is just giving them fresh oxygen. I blocked them all. My silence was louder than their noise. After 2 months, the felony charges stuck. Tyler took a plea deal. 5 years probation. A permanent felony record. He will never be able to own property legally again. The cabin was returned to the trust. My parents were protected. Permanently. But the deeper change? It happened inside my parents. They started living. Really living. My father began woodworking again, building birdhouses for the porch. My mother started painting. Sunsets, mountains, the cabin itself. They hiked. They laughed. They made friends with neighbors. One evening, I arrived unannounced. My parents were sitting on rocking chairs watching the sun melt into the valley. The sky was the color of apricots and fire. My father looked at me, a soft warmth in his eyes. Come sit, sweetheart. I sat between them. My mother reached over and squeezed my hand. Honey, she said quietly, you saved us. Not with money. Not with a cabin. But with a boundary. A boundary made of steel. People think revenge is burning someone's life down. It isn't. Revenge is giving your loved ones the peace the enemy tried to steal. Revenge is choosing who gets to enter your home, and who gets locked out forever. Revenge is protecting the gentle people from the wolves they raised. And as we watched the Montana sun disappear behind the mountains, I realized something. I didn't just give my parents a home. I gave them their dignity back. And I took back my own. Thank you for reading this story. If it moved you, if it made you feel something, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us reach our next goal. Help us get to 5,000 subscribers. And for more true, emotional, explosive revenge stories, visit our channel Revenge Uncut every single day.